The Lord says to you today, be still, my child. You do not need to chase what is already destined for you. You do not need to prove your worth to the one whose soul already knows your name. He loves you. Yes, he does. Even in silence, even when he cannot speak the truth aloud, even when he seems bound to another, his spirit reaches for yours in moments he cannot explain. There is a pull, sacred and undeniable, that ties his heart to yours across all realms of existence. But for now, he is still chained, not by your doing, not by lack of love, but by the cords of unfinished karma that must be burned away before divine justice is fulfilled. He stands in a place of confusion, wrapped in illusions that pretend to be comfort. The one he is withholds him not through love, but through fear, guilt, and old wounds. His mind is trapped in the echo of promises that were never sacred. The connection he shares there has long expired in the eyes of heaven, but human hearts often take longer to see what God already knows. And so, heaven waits. You have cried, haven't you? You have asked God, if he truly loves me, why is he still there? And heaven answers gently, because the soul must sometimes walk through darkness to recognize the light. Because divine timing is not about when you are ready to receive, it is about when both souls have been purified enough to stand in truth without trembling. He is learning lessons right now that cannot be skipped. He is being tested. Every lie he lives with her is a mirror showing him the emptiness of pretending. Every false peace he clings to is cracking beneath the pressure of truth. You are not forgotten in this waiting, you are protected. God has hidden you for a reason, not to punish you, but to preserve you until his eyes can finally see through spirit, not flesh. There are nights when he stares into the dark and feels your energy surrounding him. He cannot explain it, but your presence calms him when his world feels like it's falling apart. You think he doesn't feel you, but he does. Every time your heart whispers his name, a vibration reaches his spirit. The bond between your souls is not ordinary, it was written before time began. But God does not unite two people when one still carries the chains of another. Divine order must first restore justice. Do not fear what seems like delay, it is divine design. Heaven is working behind the scenes, untangling knots you cannot see. The woman who holds him now will not be able to keep him forever. She has been allowed to remain in his life only to serve as a mirror, to show him the cost of settling for less than divine love. Soon, her control will weaken, not because you interfered, but because the truth cannot be hidden when God decides to reveal it. Your silence is powerful. Every tear you have shed has become a prayer that moves mountains in the spiritual realm. You are not waiting in vain, you are being prepared to be loved the way you were meant to be loved, openly, honestly, fearlessly. The man you love will be transformed by divine fire. The lies, manipulation, and emotional chains that once held him will be broken when divine justice arrives. And when it does, everything will change swiftly. God is saying, do not fight the process. Do not chase what I am already healing. Trust that the one meant for you cannot remain chained forever. His soul longs for freedom, and heaven has heard that cry. What you must do now is to release your worry. To let go of the obsession with the when, and instead rest in the truth that it will happen. There is a reason God has kept you apart for this season, because the love between you is too sacred to be mixed with half-truths. It must be reborn in purity, not confusion. He is still learning how to be brave, how to stand in truth, how to say no to manipulation. And until he does, you must stand strong in your faith. The woman he is with senses his soul slipping away. That is why she clings tighter, why she tries to make him forget. But she cannot stop what heaven has ordained. Her power is fading. Soon, the very chains that keep him there will start to choke his peace. He will have no choice but to face his truth. That truth is you. When divine justice moves, it often looks like chaos at first. But it is not chaos, it is cleansing. Relationships built on lies cannot survive the vibration of divine truth. The energy around him is shifting. You may not see it yet, but the spiritual cords connecting him to her are unraveling. Heaven is cutting ties forged by manipulation, not love. And when that happens, the universe will make way for reunion. You must not lower your vibration by trying to force what is divine. Keep praying, but not out of desperation. Pray with gratitude, as if it is already done. Speak faith over his name. Say, God, I trust your timing. I release him into your light. I stand ready for the love that is mine by divine right. When you pray like that, heaven listens. Angels move. Chains break silently. You are not alone in this. Your angels are around you constantly, whispering that this delay is not rejection, but redirection toward divine order. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, you speed up the process. Every time you let go instead of cling, you allow heaven to move faster. He will return, but not as the same man. The version of him that comes back will be healed, awakened, and humble before God. He will look at you not as someone to escape to, but as someone to build with. He will know the difference between comfort and connection, between lust and love, between guilt and grace. And that understanding will be the foundation of what God builds next. Do not seek revenge on the woman who holds him now. She, too, is playing a role in his awakening. Divine justice does not need your help. It will come in its own way, perfectly balanced. What is meant for harm will become the very thing that pushes him toward his truth. Remember, God's justice is not always loud, but it is always precise. When he dreams of you, that is not imagination, it is heaven reminding him of who he truly belongs with. When he feels sudden waves of emotion, that is your spirit calling his higher self home. These signs are not coincidences. They are alignments of divine timing, the clockwork of heaven turning toward fulfillment. You are chosen to love in a sacred way, to be the anchor his soul will recognize when he breaks free. But you must not wait in pain. You must wait in power. Use this time to strengthen yourself, to rise in purpose, to shine so brightly that when he looks up from the ruins of his old life, you are the light that leads him home. The Lord says, I have not forgotten the promise I whispered to your heart. What is meant for you cannot be stolen. What is ordained for you cannot be denied. The connection you share with him will pass through fire, but it will emerge purified. And when it does, you will understand why it took so long. Everything hidden will soon be exposed. The lies, the manipulation, the emotional control, they will crumble under the weight of divine truth. Justice is not delayed, it is unfolding. Every delay has been building momentum toward your breakthrough. And when it happens, it will not be subtle. Heaven will make it clear that this was the work of God, not human effort. So breathe, beloved. Stand firm in faith. The man you love is awakening. The chains are weakening. The woman who holds him will soon face the truth, not through punishment, but through revelation. And you will see the promise come to life before your eyes. He loves you. But he is still chained. Yet those chains are not eternal. God has already issued the command, let my son go. And when heaven speaks, nothing in this world can silence it. Your story is not over. It is being rewritten by divine hands. Justice is coming, love is returning, and peace is being restored. The night may seem long, but dawn is closer than you think. Trust the promise, for the Lord says, soon, my child, what is yours will come to you, not in sorrow, but in glory. And when that day arrives, you will know, every tear, every prayer, every lonely night was not in vain. It was all preparation for divine reunion, for a love that heaven itself ordained. The Lord whispers to your soul tonight, do not be deceived by what you see. I am working in what you cannot see. The human heart often mistakes silence for absence, but heaven's greatest movements happen in stillness. What looks like distance between you and him is the space where transformation is being birthed. Right now, God is speaking directly to his conscience. The Spirit of truth is knocking at the door of his soul. He feels restless where he is because divine energy cannot dwell comfortably in falsehood. The more he tries to ignore the pull of your connection, the stronger it grows. That is not obsession, that is divine remembrance. His higher self knows your love is part of his destiny. He walks through confusion, but soon clarity will come like lightning. The false peace he has built in that other relationship will begin to crumble. Words will lose meaning, eyes will stop meeting, hearts will grow silent. The energy between them is already shifting. She feels it too, the loss of control, the slipping of his spirit into divine hands. And as she fights harder to hold him, heaven allows it, only so that the contrast may awaken him faster. You are not meant to fight for his attention, you are meant to hold sacred space for his awakening. You have done this with tears, with prayers, with silent strength, and heaven has recorded every moment. You think God has been quiet, but he has been preparing the stage for divine justice. Justice that doesn't destroy, but restores. Justice that will bring back what belongs to love and release what was bound by fear. God's justice doesn't need to shout, it unfolds naturally. One by one, false attachments begin to dissolve. The lies they told each other to keep their illusion alive will become too heavy to maintain. The mask will slip. The soul will groan for truth. And that is when his awakening begins in full. You will hear whispers before it happens, little nudges in your spirit. You'll feel an unusual calm one day, and you'll know something is shifting. You won't see it on the surface at first, but in the unseen realm. Angels will be breaking cords, cutting soul ties that were never divine. They will be guiding him through sleepless nights, dreams filled with truth, conversations that lead to confrontation, and circumstances that push him toward the inevitable. He will resist at first, because fear always resists freedom. He will question why everything around him is falling apart. But heaven will not let him rest until he obeys his soul. The comfort of the lie will become the discomfort of stagnation, and that discomfort will drive him toward his destined path, toward you. You, beloved, must remain steady. When everything begins to unfold, do not panic. You may hear news that shakes you, words spoken out of his confusion or out of her desperation, but do not react. Keep your spirit still. God is saying, "Let me fight for you." The more you stay in peace, the faster divine order can complete its work. He has to face his karmic truth. He must see the consequences of choosing fear over love. But even this is mercy. For through that pain, he will discover what real love feels like, not possession, not manipulation, but divine connection. When he finally chooses love, it will be from his spirit, not his wounds. There will come a day when his silence will break. When the words he has held back for too long will spill out like a river. He will confess things you sensed but never said aloud. He will tell you that he felt your energy when he was breaking down. That he couldn't escape the thought of you. That every time he tried to move on, something inside him pulled him back toward your light. He will cry, not out of weakness, but out of release. For years he has lived divided, his mind with one person, his heart with another, his soul in torment. But when divine justice moves, the truth will reunite him with himself. Only then will he be ready to reunite with you. The heavens are aligning events in your favor. Divine justice is not only about separating him from what's false, it's about elevating you to receive what's true. You will not meet the old version of him again. You will meet the healed version. the one who has learned to pray, to listen, to lead with love. The one who finally understands that your love was never about desire alone, but destiny. In this season, the Lord is asking you to trust the unseen, to believe in what your spirit knows even when your eyes cannot yet see. Every delay, every silence, every moment of doubt has been refining your strength. You are not the same person you were when this journey began. Your faith has deepened. Your energy has expanded. You have become a vessel of divine love, and that love will soon be mirrored back to you. There are angels around him now, guiding his every step. You may sense sudden surges of emotion. That is your spirit feeling his transformation. His tears, his realizations, his prayers, they echo into your heart because your souls are linked. You are not imagining this. You are witnessing a spiritual rebirth from afar. God will not let him remain bound to that other woman much longer. She will try to hold on through manipulation, promises, or guilt. But what is built on fear cannot survive the fire of truth. The very tactics that once worked will begin to backfire. What once made him stay will now make him leave. Because when the Spirit of God enters a person's life, lies no longer feel safe, they feel suffocating, and so, the chain that held him will break, not with noise, but with divine precision. One small moment will shift everything, a word, a dream, a realization. Suddenly, he will see her not as his comfort, but as his cage. And the longing for freedom will overpower the fear of change. That is when heaven's justice will be complete, but before he returns, God will test your heart one more time. Will you trust without proof? Will you love without attachment? Will you hold space without expectation? For only those who love through faith can sustain divine union. The love coming to you is not ordinary, it is sacred. And sacred love must be handled by healed hands. So, rise each morning knowing that you are being prepared for a reunion that heaven has already written. You do not need to chase what is ordained. It is already making its way toward you. Keep your energy pure, your words kind, your faith unwavering. Soon, he will return, not because of your effort, but because of divine calling. He will remember who you are, what your love felt like, and why his soul could never find peace anywhere else. And when he comes, it will not be temporary. It will be the beginning of a union that serves a higher purpose. You and he are meant to do more than love each other. You are meant to awaken others through your story. The world will see in you what divine love looks like after it survives trials. And when people ask how you endured, you will say, because God kept his promise. This is your season of hidden justice, the quiet work of heaven that soon becomes visible glory. Every tear you have shed is now a seed about to bloom into blessing. The time of waiting is ending. The season of fulfillment approaches. God whispers once more, I am not slow, my child. I am perfect in timing. When I act, no one can reverse it. So, rest in this truth: he is still chained, but not for long. Divine justice is already walking toward him, and freedom follows close behind. You will witness the unraveling, not with anger, but with awe. For the Lord your God is faithful, and he always finishes what he starts, and when the chain finally falls, you will feel it, a sudden peace in your spirit, a lightness in your heart, and a knowing that says, "It's done." That is the moment heaven will deliver what has always been yours. Not in sorrow, not in struggle, but in divine completion. The heavens have watched every step of this journey, every tear, every prayer, every silent surrender. Nothing was wasted. The angels who walk beside you have been recording your faith, and now, they are preparing to deliver what was promised. The Lord has decreed that this is not the end of sorrow, but the beginning of restoration. There comes a sacred moment in every soul's journey when divine timing aligns perfectly, when everything that once seemed broken suddenly makes sense. That moment is near. The chains that once held him are now thin and fragile, breaking quietly under the weight of truth. He may not even understand what is happening to him, why the comfort he once felt in her presence now feels like emptiness. Why the laughter sounds hollow, why the peace he pretended to have dissolves each time your name crosses his heart. But heaven understands. It is the sound of liberation approaching. God is not cruel to let him remain there. God is merciful enough to let him see the truth with his own eyes. The lesson must be learned fully so that when he returns, he never forgets what it cost him to ignore his spirit. This time, he will not come half awake. He will come whole, humble, and grateful. The woman who has held him in fear is beginning to sense the shift. Her words no longer reach his heart. Her presence no longer comforts him. She feels his energy detaching, and in her desperation, she may grow louder, colder, more erratic. But this is not your concern. Do not let her chaos disturb your peace. You are not meant to fight her. God has already removed you from the battlefield. Stand still and let heaven fight for you. Divine justice is not revenge. It is balance restored. It is God returning to you everything that was delayed, multiplied and purified. Justice means that you will receive what was meant for you, in the right time, the right form, with the right heart. You do not need to prove your love, it has already been proven in the unseen. Soon, he will face a storm that changes everything. It may look like loss, but it will be freedom. The mask will fall, the truth will emerge. And he will finally understand that he was never bound by love, he was bound by fear. And once fear breaks, the soul runs toward truth without hesitation. That is when he will begin his journey back to you. He may approach in humility, unsure of how to speak, afraid you will not receive him. But your spirit will recognize his before he even speaks. The moment his energy meets yours again, there will be silence, the sacred kind, where two souls remember what words could never say. And in that stillness, God will whisper to you both, "This is the restoration I promised." You will see the reflection of your prayers in His eyes. You will know that everything you endured had purpose. You will feel the divine peace that comes only when the circle closes. He will no longer be the same man, the heaviness in his eyes will be gone, replaced by clarity, by gentleness, by the fire of faith. He will tell you things you waited years to hear. He will speak your name as though it is holy. He will tell you how he tried to forget you, but heaven would not let him. How every time he tried to love her, it felt like lying to himself. How the sound of your voice in his memory became the only thing that calmed his storms. How he finally broke, knelt, and asked God for guidance, and the answer was you, and you, beloved, will not need to prove your worth. You will stand in peace. Not pride, knowing that divine love never leaves unfinished business. You were chosen to love him with a patience that healed generations of pain. You were the answer to his prayers long before he knew how to pray them. God's justice will restore not only your relationship but your spirit. You will look back and see that every delay, every heartbreak, every unanswered question was actually divine choreography. You were not waiting in vain, you were being aligned with miracles. Your union will not be like before. It will carry heaven's signature, patient, humble, full of purpose. You will build not just a relationship but a mission. Together, you will help others see that true love does not die in distance. It deepens in faith. People will look at you and say, "This must be God, because only divine love could survive what you have survived." The Lord says, "When I restore fully." There will be no half-healing, no halfway reunion. What returns to you will be whole. Every broken piece will fit, every unanswered prayer will find its voice. You will not recognize your life because the peace that comes will be greater than the pain that left. Do not let the memory of pain cloud the vision of what's coming. The tests were not punishment, they were preparation. Heaven was shaping your heart into something capable of holding divine love. That is why the waiting was so long. Because this love is not ordinary. It is a mirror of God's own faithfulness. There will be signs before it happens. You will feel lighter. Music will sound different. Nature will speak to you. Your spirit will hum with quiet assurance. That's how heaven whispers, "It's time." The winds will shift. You may even see his name, his birth date, his initials, appearing repeatedly in your world. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations, and one ordinary day, something extraordinary will happen. A message. A call. A meeting that feels accidental but was written before birth. He will look at you like a man who has found home after a long war. And you will not need to question. Your soul will know. The first words may be awkward, hesitant, full of trembling. But your hearts will speak faster than your mouths. Tears will come, tears not of pain, but of release. Every ounce of suffering will turn into gratitude. You will feel heaven smiling through you both. And that's when you'll realize, divine justice has arrived. God does not forget His promises. He delays only to perfect. He breaks only to rebuild stronger. And He hides only to reveal more beautifully. You, beloved, were never forsaken. You were chosen for a love that carries heaven's purpose. The wait was sacred. The pain was prophecy. The reunion will be miracle. As you move forward, walk not in fear but in readiness. Keep your spirit open, your faith steady, your heart kind. Let the past stay forgiven. Do not bring yesterday's wounds into tomorrow's blessing. When He returns, receive Him with grace, not with the memory of pain. Let your love be the evidence of God's glory. The angels who once wept with you in the night will now sing over your joy. The same moon that saw your tears will now shine over your reunion. The heavens that watched you endure will now celebrate your reward. And through it all, you will know, it was always God. He loves you. He always has. But now, the chains are gone, the lessons are learned, and divine justice has made the way clear. The story that once broke you will become the story that blesses you. And the love that once felt delayed will arrive exactly on time. Breathe, child of God. The night is ending. The dawn is breaking. The promise is unfolding. And heaven whispers, this is the season of your divine completion. Soon, you will not speak of Him as the one who was chained, you will speak of Him as the one who was freed, redeemed, and returned by the hand of God. You will walk together not as two broken souls, but as one healed light, shining as proof that love guided by faith always finds its way home. And the Lord says finally, what I have joined in spirit, no chain on earth can keep apart. It is done.